Hello, my name is Darson Grantham, Realtor with Keller Williams. In this Multifamily Monday video, I'm going to go through the active and the sold and the expired and the pending multifamily properties that are listed on the Des Moines Area Realtors Association program. So realtors have access to this software. Unfortunately, the general public does not, but if you partner with a realtor or you talk to a realtor, you can easily get set up on some filters so that you're seeing these properties as they come on the market and not just once a week. But one of the things in this video that I'll do is we'll kind of go through each property. I'll give my high level opinion on it, kind of the area and just what other properties in that type area or in that area are doing, so that it gives you a better idea of when you're purchasing in Des Moines, what you should be paying or what the market is telling you. Because what you should be paying is whatever is important to you. I've told this story quite a few times lately. I have clients that they want to buy a property and they don't need cash flow, but they want a good solid market, a good solid property in a solid market that, the renters are paying off their mortgage over time. It's got, your mechanicals are newer, the roof is newer, it's got very few capital expenditures that are expected. And so the investor can pretty much put a renter in there and manage the lease renewal and the rent and the collecting rent. And there's not a lot of repairs that are going to need to be done. That's what they want. They're going to pay, that type of investor is going to pay a premium for those properties, as opposed to the investor who wants to see cash flow day one. And cash flow means something new, something different to every investor. So it's one of my big pet peeves is when someone calls me and says, I want cash flow on a property. Cash flow is fantastic. Are you going to put 100% down payment? No financing? Because that cash flows like a bandit, right? Like that cash flows. But that's not what most people look at as true cash flow. The reverse of that. If I buy a property and 100% have it financed, whether it's with a bank or private money, I personally have $0 into it, and it makes $1 a month after paying all expenses. Does that cash flow? Yes, $1 a month. Percentage-wise, it's infinite. So those are things that when you're buying and you're trying to think through, what does cash flow mean to me? What are you leveraging? What is that interest rate that you're leveraging? What are you putting down? Okay, so let's dig in. Okay, first property. There has been one property that has expired this week, and so that's the one we're going to go through. This is 3420 Oxford Street. This TEJ Properties, they have listed 3 or 4 properties in the last year, and I think all of them have sold except this one. It's being sold. The listing agent is the property management company, which is kind of interesting. So we got 6 1-bedroom units listed at $359, and building insurance by owner, electric by landlord, electric by tenant, gas landlord, gas tenant. So what this is telling me is water landlord, water tenant. It looks like all the utilities are split, but there's still a house meter for each of the properties, or for this property. So if you go to Mid-American or you go to Des Moines Waterworks, it's likely going to have a water account for each unit and also a landlord water account that is like to the exterior spigot or something like that. So this property expired. What that means is it expired today. Is today the 23rd? Expired. Yeah. So expired in the last day or two. The things that could happen with this is the seller could say, nope, I'm just going to keep this one. It doesn't look like that's something this seller, just knowing that they've listed 2 or 3 other properties, those other properties have sold. I just don't think that they're probably going to keep this one based on that, previous actions. But who am I to say? Gross income's $48,000. So if you back that up, I don't have a calculator. Here we go. We'll look. So we go 48,000 divided by 6 units. So it's $8,000 per year per unit. Divide that by 12. We'll get a per unit per month. Or at $666 per unit per month. That's actually pretty good for this, for a 1-bedroom. I want to say these look pretty updated. I mean, at least those pictures do. Let's see the location. Yeah, I mean, 666 is, I would say that's probably the top of the market in that location. You're right at your Oak Park's over here, Union Park, Highland Park. So it's in an area that's getting better and better and better every year. But again, 666, I just don't think you're going to get much rent improvement from that on 1-bedrooms in that area. Yeah, so we'll see. Hard to tell what will happen with this property. If anyone is interested in it, let me know. I'll reach out to the owners and we can set something up. Let's see if they price decreased at all. Started at $379, decreased after 43 days to $359, and stuck with $359 for the full 6 months. Let's see their back. So they listed in the package. You can see right there. It was a new listing for a 1.3 mil, which clearly this is not a 1.3 mil property. So that makes sense. Interesting. Looks like they bought it in 2016 for $75,000. That's a pretty good jump. They better did quite a bit to it. But it also might be overpriced, and which is why they're not selling it. It's hard telling. And you got to think when you're buying a property like this, you have to think a little bit like the owner. If there is capital gains and whatnot, like they're going to get taxed on that entire amount. So say even if they put $200,000 into it, which would be an enormous rehab for this size property, but it could happen. If you did that, you'd be at $275, and they're selling at $359. Take about $20,000 realtor fees off of it, so you're at $330, $340, and so that's a $70,000 profit that this company would have after 4 years, which yes is awesome. But when you're thinking like these sellers, that's money that they want to probably 1031 and move that into another asset so that they don't get taxed on that amount. I can't say that for sure, but it's possible. Okay, enough with this property. Unfortunately or fortunately, there are no other big changes on the market or in the market right now. As you can see, new listings, there's 0 in the last 7 days, 2 back on the market, which we went over last week. Price decrease, 1, we went over this property last week. No price increases, 1 pending, which is a property we went over last week. And then 1 expired, which is the property we just went over. I am going to double check and make sure I'm not missing anything. Right. I saw Polk County, there's only 1 went pending. So essentially, this has been a very short multifamily Monday update. There has been almost no activity in the small multifamily market. You know what I'm going to do just for fun? I normally wouldn't do this, but let's look at this property that is an hour southwest of Des Moines. And this is going to look very appealing to everybody if you look at the true numbers. But the issue here is it's in a small town of less than 700 people. And so you have 10 units that are selling for $200,000. Do that math, you're at $20,000 per unit. And it's renting, I believe it's renting for about $3,600 a month. Again, those numbers are incredible. Your issue comes in the fact that in small towns, it's really tough to find a property manager unless you have connections there, or if you have ways to make connections. So if you're close enough, is an hour close enough for you to self-manage this? Or do you have other options? Tenants like this that are paying $350 for a one-bedroom apartment in a small town of 700, are they going to be able to pay all electronically through their phone, through your Cozy app? I would question that assumption. And so you might be only paid through a money order mailed to you. So there's just going to be a lot more on this type of property, although the numbers look really good. If you don't have a connection in that area or in that town, it's going to be tough to manage it. Now, if you are in the situation that you're buying these properties to self-manage and you're just going to call it a part-time job, I've done this. I have properties in Southeast Iowa where they cash flow very similar to this. And I've built a little team in that town. It's a bigger town than this. It's 10,000-ish people. But I built a team. It took me 3 years to really I feel pretty good about the team that I have there. So you can do it, but you have to remember for the first few years, it's going to be a part-time job to self-manage this type of property. You're not hiring it out. You're not going to pay anyone to do it. I mean, you might pay handyman, you might pay people to show it, but you can't just hand off the reins and the keys to a company and let them just manage it for you. That's not going to happen in these small towns. So I think it's going to be, at some point, I'm going to do a video of the pros versus cons of small town versus big city investing. Small town typically has better cash flow. Big city has some cash flow with the expectation of better appreciation. Your small town has almost no appreciation. So those are different things. I love this stuff. I could talk about this all day long. But yeah, I wanted to pop this property in there. I think this is a fun one. I actually looked at it, and it's in a small town very, very close to my hometown, and I would love to buy it, but I don't think it's in the cards right now. So if anyone's interested, like I said, I can connect you with some people, but don't expect any appreciation. It's a straight cash flow play. It's interesting. I love this stuff. Anyway, thank you for watching this Multifamily Monday. I really appreciate it. Something that I would recommend you doing is contacting a realtor in the area. I'm happy to do it, or someone that you work with, and get on the filter so that you're seeing these properties as they come up. The other thing I would recommend doing, and I know it's against realtor religion to do this, is get on your Zillow or your realtor.com and just put filters in there that are filtered for words that might associate with properties that you're looking for. Rent, investment, cash flow. If you can pinpoint and filter for those type properties, you're going to see those come on those apps also. And so if for some reason the filter that your agent sets up for you is slightly off and you don't get a property that might say rent, then at least you'll be able to see it on your Zillow, your realtor.com, or Redfin, or any of those others. And I know, again, it's against realtor religion to advise you to go to one of the competitors of us, because they are competitors. But I'm also a realist. I understand that, as a realtor, we have to provide value, and that's how you pay us based on value. And so if I can provide that value, then I get paid. If I can't provide that value and maybe another software provides more value to you, then I don't deserve to get paid. So call me I don't know what the economic term for that is, but the market is the market. It's what I believe. And at this, I'm pretty passionate about that. I might die on that sword. So anyway, have a good week. Stay positive. The Fed is announcing on Tuesday their expectations for the year and the end of the year. So that's something to pay attention to. I don't know what markets are going to do. It's kind of anticipated. Everything that I'm reading is that they really aren't going to do much. They're not expecting to, change anything. The interest rates are expected to stay the same through 2021, possibly through 2022, and then maybe change in 2023. That's what we have heard up until this point today. But again, the economy seems to be bouncing back pretty heavily, pretty well. And so if they increase interest rates, that's going to drastically change the buying power of individuals, businesses, people. So that could change things. But anyway, again, I'm Darson Grantham with Keller Williams. Reach out to me, email me, call me, text me, join me on Facebook, comment in the YouTube sphere, or subscribe. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Peace.